Hello, everyone. Things are about to get mighty interesting right now. One thing that many people have asked about over the years has been whether or not the mini classics would support PDF files. No, that is not even remotely possible at the time being, but there is a workaround in order to view Nintendo Power's magazines, manuals, etc. Just check it out and ignore the PPSSPP in the bottom left of the screen. It is actually a memory exploit, which I'm going to be covering as far as the next update because it's going to be crucial to helping run MAME 2022 Extreme and a few other things. But going to resume here, we got Nintendo Power Volume 1, and for those of you who've been following me for years might have realized that way back I was involved in a project like as far back as like 2004 where I was scanning literally the entirety of the Nintendo Power collection as well as Mad Magazines, etc. with a few other great people. And some of the people that I scanned with, I'm still friends with to this day, like Rich Green, etc. But going through here, bam. Literally, I could just view an entire Nintendo Power right on my Mini Classic. So we have a little bit of a PDF-style reader. But in order to do this, you have to actually convert your PDF files into pings. And we're going to go through like some of the first Nintendo Power here. It is actually quite simple. Other than converting them to pings, you have to put them into one folder and load the first one in the folder. And then they'll all consecutively, chronologically load as you tap left to right. It's so awesome here. There's going to be one other little attribute you're going to have to take into account. But look how awesome this is. This is so beautiful. And if you're playing a game, you can literally load these up for little things. Like here, okay, top 30 Nintendo games for this specific time. And when the first issue came out in like 1988 or so. Legend of Zelda prides itself at top in all other games. Were you able to go all the way? Its sequel, Adventure of Link, is coming up soon. That's kind of weird. Because Legend of Zelda came out way before Adventures of Link. But it's interesting because before Nintendo Power, we had the little mini magazine that used to come through the mail before they got into it. They were only like 20, 30 pages long. And you're going to be able to view those on here as well. But, yeah, Legend of Zelda is number 1. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out is number 2. This was ranked second place on a narrow decision. When Iron Mike gets this result, he will be mad. I am world champ. I am number 1. Is the road to a video game championship a long one? Then we have Metroid. Metroid has stubbornly held on to its popularity. Have you been able to reveal Samus's identity? Yes, because I actually just picked up Smash Brothers Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch, and I've beaten the original Metroid multiple times, and it's so cool that they actually have Metroid Samus's identity in true form fashion in Ultimate as an actual playable character. Very, very cool. I mean, typically I was pretty much more into like Tekken, Soul Calibur, and all those type of games, but I'm going to try to appreciate Smash Brothers a little bit more. But rounding this out, we got like at number 4, Super Mario Brothers, and I did get the Super Mario Brothers Deluxe for Switch as well. I'm still waiting on another Kid Icarus game. I mean, minus the Eggplant Wizard. RC Pro M is one of my favorite games. I remember trying to beat that like basically, I kept trying to get past stage 32, and I didn't realize at the time that it actually repeats. So you could literally just go like 32, 64 all the way up and do like 300 stages. The game will never end. It just gets more difficult, especially with the card that goes roundabout, yes style. Ice hockey is fun. I always love the codes where you can make it where the puck never stops. Rad Racer's great. If you want to mess with somebody, get next to them and push the button on the controller to turn it into 3D mode and then walk away. Top Gun's pretty fun. Me and my friend one of us would sit in a recliner chair, and especially with Top Gun 2, where you can do barrel rolls and loop-de-loops. We'd like tilt the chair as the other person's using the controller. So if somebody tilted it to the left, we tilt it to the left. But forbid you try doing a barrel roll, you'd be knocked right out of the chair. Double Dribble was great. We got Pro Wrestling. Love playing that game. Castlevania 1, Goonies 2, Kung Fu, Wizards and Warriors. I mean, you got a whole eclectic amount of games to play here. I like every game on this list. Going through the list there, we got an Atari catalog. I mean, if you want to see some Atari games to play, here we go. 1982. I mean, and you got to admit, it's so weird that the Sega Master System box art looked like little kids from school drew 'em, but Atari art is just fantastical. The adventure begins. You travel through an enchanted land searching for the golden chalice. Fortunately, you find it before Dragon finds you. To celebrate this adventure, oh, a little pun there. I love that game. Okay, going through the list there. You got games that are categorized like Skill Gallery, Classics Corner, Space Station, Adventure Territory. And so many of these games are so fun to play, I mean, to this day. Let's go through this. Oh, Learning Center. Okay, it was always fun. I mean, you might remember way back going over to our friend's house, and they'd have like 20 to 30 Atari games that you never even heard of. There were just so many of these games at the time. Okay, and yeah, like I said, look how amazing this art is. I mean, in contrast to like Sega Master System. Okay, Demons to Diamonds. That is a fantastic game. I used to love that. We got Breakout, Circus Atari, Human Cannonball. And I used to love reading these like catalogs and stuff. I mean, just remember the Sears catalog, and you like mark everything you want for Christmas. Maze Craze, Pac-Man, and we know what happened to Pac-Man. It actually inevitably helped ruin the entire video game industry for over a year until Nintendo came out. Skydiver, Super Breakout, Video Pinball. I used to love playing Video Pinball because I mastered that where you hold the button down and tilt, and I kept doing it to the point where I would barely tilt, and I would just like reset that game over and over again. And what's weird, you can actually ruin an Atari game if you actually flip the score enough times. It'll actually make it where the game never boots again. I'm not sure exactly what caused that to happen, but my friend has done it to multiple Yard's Revenge cartridges because he was such a master at that game. We got Classics Corner, and now for some quiet intellectual fun. And these are the games that I normally wouldn't play at the time, but now I can appreciate them more, especially games like chess. I still need to learn how to play Othello, though. We got Backgammon, don't know how to play that. Casino, I've learned off and on how to play like poker and stuff like that. Othello, I don't really know how to play that. 3D Tic-Tac-Toe is quite interesting. Video Checkers, Video Chess. Look at this awesome art there. I mean, this is beautiful. I actually got this one book that showcases Atari art. I mean, I just love all the art for these Atari games. I mean, they were just far beyond many of the artworks that have come to this day. Okay? I mean, this is cool as hell right there. That should be Berserk. There we go. Trapped on a planet called Mazon. Okay. Because of all the mazes. And Berserk is, I think, a play on stuff like Robotron 2084. But love this game. And if you play it like certain versions, you get like the sound effects where the robots talk to you and such. And look at this art. Oh, that is beautiful. Looks like he's holding a Nintendo Switch almost there. Star Raiders. Remember that game? Asteroids. Can't go wrong with Asteroids. Defender, Missile Command. And if you want a real surprise, try the Atari 2600 version of Missile Command. You could probably play for an entire hour before you die. Play the arcade version, you're done in 2 minutes. I mean, it's like real life something else. No pun intended. Space Invaders. Great game. And I like how it says on there, 112 games, where you literally just keep pushing the button, and you can go through like different challenge levels. One where the aliens are like right at the bottom of the screen. We got Space War. Here we go, Yard's Revenge. Here's a little bit of a tidbit story. It's one of the last things I'm going to mention for the video. The creator of Yard's Revenge is also the creator of E.T. And nobody would take on the challenge of getting E.T. developed before Christmas, but this guy did, and they gave him, I believe like 3 weeks to make this game, when normally you need a minimum of 3 months to a year to make a decent game. But he did this in 3 weeks. They rushed E.T. out, not Yard's Revenge, mind you. E.T., and the rest is history. Games like E.T. and Pac-Man pretty much ruined the video game industry at the time. So I remember one time where I was basically, for Christmas, or my birthday, I forget which one, I was able to pick like 2 games, and I picked Jungle Hunt, which is a great game by Taito, and Moon Patrol, which is a great game by Irem. And I remember them being like $40 to $50 US at the time. And then this looks like Castlevania there. This is interesting. It really looks like Simon Belmont Castlevania here. And that's the game adventure territory. But in any case, literally like one day, the games were like $40 to $50. Then the next day, when the video game crash happened due to games such as the influx of Pac-Man and the travesty such as E.T. I still like E.T., but it was a travesty at the time because of the rush job, and it just didn't have the quality marquee titles that would have otherwise. But in any case, games would be like 88 cents. I was able to go there, and like my mom would get me like 22 games for like 20-something bucks. It was crazy. So I had like hundreds of Atari games in no time. But see some of these adventure games. Adventure, I love that game. They actually did a remake of it, I believe, on Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance. I forgot what it was called, but I like the remake. And I'd love to see this like next gen, like on PS4, PS5. Haunted House is interesting. It's one of those games where I was doing like the challenge of trying to beat the game within like 2 minutes on PS4 to get the challenge. And it's one of those randomized games where you can keep restarting it over and over again, and the locations of the chalices, etc., reset. And of course, we have Superman with the funny X-ray vision where you can see multiple screens to the right. I remember liking that game way back in the day, and that sound effect where you're like flying around, like it's so weird. Trademark of DC Comics. Now I think it's a trademark of Warner Brothers. Okay, racetrack, some racing games here. Dodge 'em, Indy 500, Night Driver. I mean, that actually was pretty badass for a car racing game. And I remember these packed with special steering controllers. Some of these controllers, I remember even the rotating controllers, they broke so fast, especially games like the Breakout. I mean, everybody I knew had to replace these controllers like a half dozen times. They got really loose. Street Racer, not that Street Racer, but look at it, great art. Slot racers, and just going on more great artwork. We have some sports game. Okay, let's see what kind of... This is your ticket to the best athletic events in town. Play football, baseball, soccer, all your favorite sports right on your TV screen. The best part is you can call the shots. Okay, we got basketball. Look at them amazing graphics. And they had this on 5200 as well. Bowling. Bowling actually played pretty well. I love football where you could like control all the players with one guy. I mean, you controlled the entire formation. It was kind of funny. And it was like horse galloping when you ran around, like like that. Okay, we got golf. Interesting game. Home run, baseball game. Play soccer. Okay. And Video Olympics. Combat Zone. Okay. Again, great artwork. This kind of reminds me of like Buckaroo Banzai, or what was that movie where Time Rider, where the guy's on a motorcycle in the Old West. That's what that reminds me of. And you might notice, like even with Metal Gear, the cover looks like Michael Biehn from the Terminator movie. Right here, it looks like the guy from the Time Rider movie. Literally, it reminds me of that movie where he's on a motorcycle in the medieval times. Air Sea Battle. I remember this game being a crazy child trophy, having to get like a certain high score. Canyon Bomber, Combat, great multiplayer game. Outlaw. Obviously, these are great two-player mode activate games, all these. Warlords is one of those ones that had the weird controllers that you could use for it. And, okay, look at this great artwork. Learning Center. Ah, jeez. Are you going to be one of these people who got like learning games for Christmas? Educational games, kind of like the Bible Adventures and such? Math Grand Prix? What? I don't even know if I played Math Grand Prix. Okay, basic programming. That might be interesting. Basic programming. I remember actually doing stuff with basic way back. I'm kind of curious about how that even works out. Code Breaker. That has been like something that has been a trend even up to more current times, and it's been renamed multiple times. Brain Games. Okay. Hangman. Okay. Game of Concentration. And then we got the awesome Atari Game Center console there. I mean, it was so cool how it had that like nice wood finish and all that. And even to this day, you might have one of these Atari systems from the 1970s that still looks crystal clear, pristine, but you might have a Nintendo system from like the 1990s, and it's yellow due to the discoloration and chemicals used. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and the last thing I need to mention here is if you want to have this like this, you're basically, I'm going to go low-content Star Trek 3 dummy. I essentially did a PDF folder. This is, like I said, real easy. I mean, it's something that has been kind of going into works for the last several updates, and it's working out nice to fruition here. Just copy all your ping files. Yes, make sure they're ping files right here. And you can see they're nice and clear there. Because if you try doing it with some other formats, like right here, we have JPEGs. Notice how they're real blurry and they don't work well. They're more optimized if you do them as ping files. And I have PNG Pingu, which is a great JPEG to ping converter. It's in my release, actually, and it's a free program. But once you have these all in the folder, you simply load the first one, and it's not even going to load with the core. It's just going to load with the RetroArch itself, and then you tap right, and you'll be able to view them. And the other thing is you're going to need to, in order to get the best format in here, go into Video. You're going to go to Scaling, and temporarily for aspect ratio, you're going to make it 1:1. Normally it'd be core provided, but for this, you're going to want to make it 1:1 so you can actually see the images properly.